So once again, guys, this is Chetan here from Edureka, and I'm going to talk about how big data is getting used for improving the customer service in today's world. So we will talk about first. We'll try to understand about the big data, how the big data has become such an important thing in terms of when it comes to like customer service, when it comes to like getting a kind of customer insight, how and why big data is so important. And then we are going to talk briefly about like how Hadoop comes in and fits in this particular challenge that we have with the big data. And then we are going to talk about different companies that are using Hadoop and the big database solution to get a kind of the customer insight they need to understand about the different kind of the patterns, different kind of the recommendation prediction that they want to do for their customer. And then finally, we are going to talk about multiple scenarios where we'll see that the big data is becoming a big help in terms of improving the customer service, improving the kind of the products you can design for customers. So all those aspects we are going to talk. Edureka is an online training provider company, and we are focused in a big data. We are specialized in big data related training. So we provide training on Apache Hadoop, Spark, Kafka, and all these are big data related topics. Apart from that, we also have training courses for other domains like PMP, Agile, Java, and all those stuff. So feel free to get more detail about that on edureka.co, and we will be able to help you in case of you have any such training requirement. Recording a video, sure, Pallavi. We will be sharing that recording. So this whole webinar is going to be recorded, guys. So our whole discussion will be recorded. So in case if you need it, we will be able to share that. So by end of this session, you will be able to understand the rise of big data that we have in today's world, and how the big data and Hadoop fits in, and how the major companies using Hadoop and the different use case that we are going to talk. So when it comes to big data, one of the things that all of us are aware about that big data means huge volume of the data. And that's very much true that when it comes to the big data, one of the aspect that we have for the big data is volume. So when it comes to volume, it's not that few GB or few MB of the data that we are talking about here. When it comes to big data, it's like terabytes, petabytes, or even people talking in terms of the zettabytes of the data that we have. So all these data is really bringing two kind of the challenge in front of us. First, how you store such large volume of the data, because storing all the RDBMS system which has been designed in last 20-25 years has been designed to handle mostly the structured data that's coming from ERP and the CRM kind of systems, and it was like few GB of the data. That's what it was getting stored. But with the rise of like all these web-based Internet of Things and all the data coming from the different kind of smart devices, mobile devices that we have, the kind of data that we are getting is huge. Apart from the volume of the data that's coming from all these digital devices that we have, another aspect of the data that we have is it's a lot of data coming from social media. The data that's basically comes from all these interaction through emails, a tweet, Facebook post, images that you upload. So all these kind of the data, it's adding another dimension to this the challenge that we have with the data, and that's going to be a kind of it kind of the different kind of the data that we have. So in last 20-25 years, most of the data that we have is very structured data, well-defined schema that you used to have, and that data used to be getting stored inside inside kind of the data warehousing. But nowadays the data that you get from Twitter, the data that you get from Facebook, all these data are going to be kind of unstructured data. So a lot of data that comes is like free form of the text, images, video, where you can't store a kind of or you can't have a predefined metadata. And if you see the trend that we are having on the slide, it shows that the data that we had in 2005 and what we have in 2015, it's totally different. Earlier, all the data we had, of course, the volume was less, and out of those volume of the data that we had, most of the data were structured data. So when I talk of structured data, it's like when you can find a schema in your data, like comma separated data, tab separated data, or any kind of pipe delimited data that you get it. But nowadays, what we have, the data is like it's all free form term data. Like when you go on Twitter and you talk about this particular webinar or about a product, you are no longer going to type it. Okay, webinar was good, right? So it's going to be like webinar. You will put awesome. You will put like up arrow or down arrow. So all these kind of the data that you are going to put there, it need to be understood, it need to be analyzed. So that's kind of that brings another kind of the challenge in terms of the data is like unstructured data, how you handle such kind of the data. So based on like the two challenges that we have about the volume, of course we are when we talk about the big data or rise of the big data, it comes a lot of the dimension it comes for the big data is volume. The second thing that it comes is from the different variety of the data that we are getting. There is third dimension as well for the data, and that's going to be the velocity aspect of the data. Like when you talk about the challenge of the big data, it also comes in like all this data that's getting generated, it's getting generated in real time. So you have data coming with a very fast speed in terms of the storage, in terms of the processing. So you need to have a mechanism that can quickly understand this or quickly basically get this high volume of the data inside the data center, can be analyzed, and then you can derive the insight from that. So that's the third aspect of the big data that we have in terms of the velocity. How fast you can get the data and how fast you can analyze the data. All these aspect also become very important because in today's world, speed is the key. How fast you can get the insight from the data. That's like one of the key thing you have to consider when it comes to the getting insight from the data. So, based on all these three challenges that we listed here, first about the volume, second about the variety of the data that we are getting, and the third velocity, it basically brings in front of us another kind of the problem, and that becomes a big data problem. How fast how fast you can handle such large volume of the data and different variety of the data is one of the key thing to be handled by different kind of the tool and techniques that we have in today's world. So when you talk about big data, it's mostly kind of a problem statement that we are talking about, like how you handle this kind of challenge in terms of the data. Now, to handle this kind of a challenge, one thing that you have to consider is that these kind of the challenge can be only handled with the help of distributed kind of the application when you are going to involve multiple computers or multiple machines to store and the process data. And that's where the Hadoop comes in. Hadoop being a distributed architecture helps you to store such large volume of the data as well as it helps you to process the data. So we are going to see next. I'm going to move to the next slide. Before I move that, is everybody clear with in terms of the kind of the challenge that we have in the big data in terms of the volume, variety, and the velocity? And do let me know if you have any question. Meantime, I will move to the next slide. And I do a question coming here from Abhijit Das. How Hadoop helps to solve the traditional data processing? So to answer your question, Abhijit, how Hadoop helps to solve the traditional big data processing is because Hadoop basically gives you a kind of a set of tools and the technology that handles the data in a distributed way. So you can store your data across a set of commodity machine and you can process them in parallel fashion. So that way Hadoop helps you to scale any large volume of the data. So you're no longer limited to kind of a vertical scalability, but you can horizontally scale and you can store any amount of the data and process it. So Rajesh has a question come comment. So Hadoop can look into unstructured data. Exactly, Rajesh. So in case of Hadoop, you can store all the three kind of the data, structure, semi-structure, unstructured data together, and you can process it with the help of the tools that it comes or the processing framework that we have in terms of MapReduce. Okay. how many Hadoop machines Hadoop can handle, and that's interesting question, Atul. So it's like it's horizontal scalable kind of solution, Atul. So it can go to any number of machine that you can think of. So earlier, like in Hadoop 1.2, we used to have 4,000, 5,000 nodes kind of the cluster, but now Hadoop comes with something called name node federation, as well as it has the hivability, so you can have any number of the nodes inside Hadoop cluster. So it's a completely depends on how much volume of the data that you want to store. Why everyone is moving to Apache Spark? We'll come to that, Mukul. Okay. Can it read images? So Hadoop has two component. Okay, so that's a good question, Rajesh. Can it read images? So it has two component, right? So one thing is how you store these different kind of the data, and the second thing is how you process the data. So in case of Hadoop, you can store all kind of the data, whether it's a image data, audio data, video data. You can store it together inside Hadoop file system. When it comes to the processing, yes, we do have the API, we do have the framework that's available which can process all these kind of the data and it can give you insight. So answer to your question is yes, Hadoop can handle the image data as well. Okay, so few more things in terms of talking about Hadoop. So like you can see here, so Hadoop or in terms of the data is going to call as like data are becoming the new raw material of business. So it's a kind of like information is going to be the oil of 21st century, and analytics is the combustion engine for that one. And if you like try to analyze the data, touch of the data, and it will confess the anything. So a lot of codes around, a lot of curiosity, a lot of attention towards the big data. And the reason why you have so much attention in today's world for the big data is because the kind of the insight that big data is providing in today's world was not possible few years back. And it's not that something that you see when you go on Amazon or when you go on eBay or Flipkart kind of the companies, like where they give you so much personalized kind of the recommendation based on your browsing history, based on the kind of the product that they have bought from that. But apart from that, the application of the big data is across all the domain, whether you talk about mobile, whether you talk about insurance, whether you talk about the finance domain, banking, healthcare, science domain. All these domains they have a lot of use case for for this kind of the big database solution. One of the interesting thing that you guys will be interested to know is like about the genome sequencing. So it's not that although the big data origin of the big data comes from the web, like the whole journey it started from Google, like where Google published a file system paper, Google file system paper, and then Yahoo adopted that, and they sponsor this whole Hadoop stuff. But you see that in case of Hadoop, a lot of things is also getting used in science and research as well. So one of the example is like in terms of the decoding the human genome sequence that involve around 3 billion kind of the base pattern. And when they tried to do it 10 years back, right, a couple of years back, it took around 10 years for them to first time do this somewhere in 2003, and that's also using the best available computer. Now, if you based with the help of the Hadoop-based solution, you can do this whole human genome sequencing in a week or less than time. So that's the kind of the application you see. It's like it's a kind of a revolution in terms of how you can handle the data, how you can understand the data, and basically derive the insight from all this data set. So the one thing, the kind of the data that we talked, right? Although we talked about three different kind of the data, but based on one of the recent survey, what it has been found that out of the the data that we have in this world, around 80% of the data that we have in today's world, and that has got generated in last 3 to 4 years, most of these data is kind of the unstructured data. So that's like the kind of the problem set that we are talking about. So we no longer are dealing with the data that was well formatted in RDBMS in terms of database and column, and we were analyzing that. So that's of course is one part of the data challenge, but that's a small part that we are talking about. Now the majority of the part that is driving this whole innovation, it's coming from unstructured data. And the second thing is like since the organizations are like having a huge amount of the data, most of the decision that you see in today's organization, it's getting derived based on the facts, based on the insight that you are building from that. Whether you want to launch a new product, whether you want to open a new office in a particular geo, whether you want to hire a new developer, all these kind of the information is getting sourced nowadays by this kind of the big data analytics that we are talking about. So every kind of the decision that you are going to see in upcoming days, it's going to be based on the data. So you no longer have a gut feeling kind of thing and the business is going to take decision. It's going to be based on the fact, it's going to based on some hidden pattern in the data. And that's where this big data become a critical role here, because you can come to those kind of conclusion, come to those kind of the decision once you have the tools and the technique to store, process, and derive the information, such kind of information. And the second thing, right? So it when I talk about like this kind of prediction, when I talk about this kind of decision making, it doesn't mean that all these things comes with this only with the Hadoop or the big data that we are talking about. Of course, these kind of things, it goes back years back when you talk about some kind of business intelligence or a kind of artificial intelligence. So these kind of intelligence was there, but the key challenge that you have with those kind of architecture or those kind of the tools is like they were not accurate. And most of the time, like I'm not sure if any of you are here from the business analytics or the data warehousing side, but most of the time you will be restricted with the like amount of the data that you can consider for your analytics. So if any of you are here like any business analyst or data analyst, even though if you go and ask like, can you give me like last 2 year supply chain data or last 2 year sales and marketing data, you will generally see from your technical team that okay, this is not possible, our ETL can't handle such large volume of the data. Or if you have two big sales table and if you want to join it like 200 GB table, uh, either you have to take a special recommendation from your DVA that you can go ahead and run such kind of the SQL, or most likely it will get killed. So the big data kind of things, basically it basically free you up from all these kind of the constant or limitation when it comes to understanding and analyzing the data. So now as big data set you want to consider, you can consider that. So big data or Hadoop based solution, it will be enable you to handle such large volume of the data and process it. And whenever you are considering a large volume of the data, indirectly it's going to increase or indirectly it's going to basically make your prediction or whatever the recommendation you are doing, it's going to be more accurate. Because whatever the best algorithm you can think of, if you are not able to feed the right size of the data so that it can learn and it can understand the pattern, it's not a usable kind of thing. So nowadays, even though if you don't have a very optimized kind of the model, if you don't have a very optimized kind of algorithm, but if you can give your model or algorithm sufficiently large amount of the data, it will be able to give you the more precise information than instead of focusing and optimizing the right kind of the algorithm. So that's where big data helps you to now do more accurate kind of the decision making or the prediction. And since Hadoop can handle all kind of the data, so whether you want to understand about a customer based on the interaction they have on the customer support based on the phone, or what they are talking about your company on Twitter, or what they are posting on the Facebook, you can combine all these different omni-channel data together, and based on that you can understand whether the customer is having what kind of interest, what kind of the product they want, or what kind of the service they are looking for, or what kind of their complaint or the area that you need to access it. So all these things you can analyze, and you can basically have a total 360 view of your customer in terms of understanding what's their need. So that's about in terms of big data and the Hadoop. So Hadoop basically enables you to to handle all these kind of things. So Hadoop is a kind of a framework that has been defined by the Apache open source community, and the whole framework has been written in Java, and where you have the tools like MapReduce, Pig, Hive, HBase. So all these kind of things comes as part of something called Hadoop ecosystem, and using these tools you are able to handle this kind of the challenge that we have in terms of huge volume of the data different kind of the data, and handling that in parallel and getting insight from that. Of course, I'm not talking about the analytics part here. Like that comes is like how you analyze the data, and that comes with a lot of algorithms that's like machine learning algorithms that you can run on top of it. Is Hadoop open source system? Ram has a question, and answer is yes, Ram. So it's a completely open source system. You can download the whole Hadoop ecosystem tools from Apache open source. You can build your cluster. You can use it for all the commercial use, whatever you have. You don't need to pay any. It comes with general licensing. You don't have any commercial licensing. You need to pay it until you want to buy some kind of support or some kind of the help that you need. So that's there are a few vendors like Cloudera and Hortonworks that enables this kind of the support. So here are the major company that are playing in this area and in the Hadoop area, right? So of course, a lot of things has come for Hadoop from Yahoo, but there are other vendors as well. We have Hortonworks, Cloudera, Mapr. So these are like commercial vendors that you have who enables this Hadoop kind of solution. So they offer a kind of a package solution which you can buy in, and then on top of that, if you need any support, they help it. Apart from that, there are a lot of the use case where like IBM is providing Hadoop-based solution. Clear Story is using this Hadoop-based solution for different kind of analysis. So all these are there. Recently, on this whole Hadoop ecosystem, guys, there has been a new tool and technique that's coming, and that's a Spark. So that's like it has started this whole journey from University of California, right? Berkeley University, and from there it was like amp lab that was there, and now it is Databricks. So that's the company that's deriving the whole Spark evaluation. So very very dynamic field, a lot of big names that you will see associated with that, like Intel, Amazon, right? So all these Google is also there associated with this whole stuff, although in a different way. So a lot of big names that you will see, and all these stuff are basically helping to derive this kind of the innovation that big data is bringing in terms of like kind of the handling the data, understanding the data, and deriving the insight from that one. Now, so this was about the problem statement that we talked in terms of the high volume of the data that we have, and the kind of challenge that it bring in front of us. Now, let's look about the another part of that one, like the people, like how they are using this, because it's good to understand like what it try to do that, but then a lot now try to look into like another aspect of this one, like how it's trying to help the industry in terms of improving customer experience. Because when it comes to any company or any organization, end of the day it has to serve their customer. So how you can leverage a Hadoop-based solution, or kind of a big data-based architecture or solution to improve the customer satisfaction. So that includes like offering the better kind of service, offering a better kind of the product solution, or basically handling their pain points and addressing that. So how you can do all this stuff. So we are what we are going to do is we are going to see a couple of these examples, like where people have leveraged Hadoop-based solution to handle this kind of challenges. So Mukesh has analysis analytics. So both are used, together, Mukul, right? So both of them have similar kind of the meaning that you have for analytics, like how you can process the raw data, derive the insight, how you can link these things together. So that's what the area of this analytics and analysis that we are talking about here. Any other question, guys? Okay. Okay, Prashant says, could you please let me know the linking of big data and Hadoop? Is it just to Hadoop? Is it just Hadoop handling the big data? Okay, so the big data is Prashant a kind of a problem statement that I listed, like in terms of the volume, high volume of the data, how you store such high volume of the data and derive the insight from that. Second is like how you handle different variety of the data and you can combine and derive the insight from that. And third is like how fast you can store and how fast you can process that. So big data is a problem statement. What Hadoop you have is a kind of the solution. Hadoop is a tool that enables you to handle large volume of the data, process the large volume of the data, store the different kind of the data together, and do all these things in a faster speed when it comes to like doing the parallel processing. So big data is a problem, and Hadoop is a kind of the solution or the tool that we have for that one. Okay, you got it? Okay, I don't have any prior experience on the data analytics, but I want to learn big data. I have 8-year experience in the project management telecom domain. And definitely, Jagjyoti, it's going to be very, very useful for you if you have years of experience working in the telecom, because in telecom, right, whether when it comes to handling the CDR, understanding and deriving the insight, preventing kind of the customer churn, all these things you can handle or do it in a better way if you use big database solution. So it's very, very relevant for you to understand this particular stuff and understand like how you can do all these things. Yep. I'm basically from SAP background, as SAP has got any context for the big data, and I understand SAP business intelligence, but it's a structured data, not for unstructured. Mostly a lot of things happening in the SAP area as well. So SAP has something called SAP HANA, and that's another kind of the big data based kind of the solution that you have. And of course, SAP has focused only on the your ERP or CRM kind of the data, right? But it is also understanding this particular change in the ecosystem, and they are also reacting to that with SAP HANA. Spark and Hadoop. Spark is more like a generic kind of the framework servant, while Hadoop is more like for the batch kind of the batch processing. Perfect, guys. Good questions. Okay. Okay, cool. So next we are going to talk about like what all the different use case that we have in terms of Hadoop and how it is getting used. So when it comes to today's world, or when it comes to today's customer experience, if you guys recall your experience, like going few years back to any of your neighbor bakery and trying to buy some bread or something there, the kind of personalized information that you get or the personalized service that you get, it was like before you go ahead and ask for something, your neighborhood bakery was aware that what you need every morning, what kind of the bread you like, or how many eggs you will need, right? So based on their experience of the way they monitoring you, they were providing the kind of the customer service, and which used to kind of delight you, and which used to make you to return every morning to the same bakery and get your stuff from there. Now, that was basically a small setup problem. You have, limited 100 or 1,000 people coming to the bakery every day, and you can easily, identify who are the important customer and how to treat them. But now when it comes to providing similar kind of experience to you, when you go on Amazon, when you go on eBay, when you go on Best Buy, to give you very personalized, very focused kind of a recommendation, it takes a lot of kind of the challenge in the background to provide that. And that's where this big data and Hadoop based solution basically enables you to do that. Because when it comes to Amazon, it's no longer just 100 people or 200 people handling that. It's like million or billions of the people that you are going to have every day coming to Amazon, and you have to recommend them based on the what kind of the product they are interested in, or what kind of the kind of the ad they have clicked on, what kind of the things that they have searched in Google, and based on that you have to recommend that. So all these kind of prediction or kind of the recommendation that you want to do, you need to do it very, very accurately. Because if you recommend something, like if the person is a sports lover and you recommend some kind of a junk fruit them, they are not going to return back to your site. So you have to be very, very careful what kind of things that you have to recommend it. So that's where these companies like Amazon, eBay, Alibaba.com, or YouTube, right? When you go on YouTube, the kind of music you try to play, and after that, the kind of recommendation you get, most likely you will continue that one, right, based on the recommendation that's coming. And all this is becoming possible because you have a Hadoop based or big database solution, which can enable you to do this kind of the personalized recommendation and prediction. So Amazon ago mastered this kind of the recommendation for the books, toy, utensils, and the customer might be interested in. And this goes a lot of algorithm behind, guys, and that's like based on item based recommendation, based on your shopping cart based recommendation. So there are a lot of things goes in behind, and especially like when it comes to recommendation, you have a lot of challenge when somebody first time lands in on Amazon.com. You don't know anything about the customer, how you are going to recommend something. So what kind of the, that's a problem is called cold start problem, like how you are going to guess what will be the product you will like when you go on the site first time. So all those kind of the challenges it has when it comes to recommendation and prediction. But overall, it is basically going to provide a good number of or good kind of the insight when it comes to understanding customer based on these big database solutions. Can I link Google Analytics? Definitely, Rajesh, you can link that one, right? So Google Analytics is like if you want to travel your customer journey on the website journey, definitely you can leverage the Google Analytics there. So when it comes to customer, right, it's not that always you want customer to give you data, right? Sometimes you give the customer data back to them. And the reason for that one is like nowadays you will see like a lot of kind of the insight you get. Like Google gives you a lot of insight about the blogs that you write, right? They tell you like how many people visited your blog, how many people liked or how many people exit on the blog on very first blog when they read it. So all these kind of data when you provide to the customer, it's basically to build the loyalty and basically to keep the customer keep coming to you, because nowadays everybody is data driven. Even when it comes to like joining this particular webinar, or when it comes to like joining a particular course, or buying a particular a new laptop or new phone, you derive all these kind of the information based on the data. So if you give the data back to the customer, it helps you basically to keep them hooked up to your system, and they can keep coming back and looking for your product. Another way is like is like building the loyalty, because when you provide the data, when you analyze the customer data, you basically get your customer loyal to your brand. And also like if you talk about any kind of analytics or any kind of the insight that you are going to provide to the customer based on their data, it's most likely they are going to engage further with you, and they may be interested in your upcoming product or new kind of the services that you are offering. So example is like if somebody is liking the fuel band of Nike, most likely if you come up with something athletic gear in future, they are going to buy that one. So those kind of future kind of engagement also you can build it if you keep your customer engaged with the analytics and the kind of the data that they will be interested to look into, and providing them in the right time and in the right form. Yeah, so these are the some of the use case that you have, right? So you have like sites like mint.com and LearnBase that allow customer to review their spending by category and see where their money went in a given week, month, or year. So when you do this kind of analysis, and when you find it all these kind of the tools helpful, you may go ahead and try to buy some kind of services that they offer, or in terms of managing your money better, or kind of your investment better, you may go ahead and buy that one. So these are like kind of the way to basically get new kind of the business, the way to basically get new kind of the engagement when it comes to engaging with the customer and getting from there. A few more example here. So there is one portal called MyFitnessPal, and that gives people on the daily how much calorie they have consumed, and how much protein or the carbon they have carbohydrate they have taken. So all these kind of analytics is basically helping you to both, right? First, to basically understand your users pattern. Second, using this kind of stuff, you can take a better decision, like what you would like to consume, what you like to plan for, to do workout in future. So all these kind of organization or kind of decision you can make once you have these kind of the insight. So a lot of you will see these kind of stuff nowadays happening in the healthcare, kind of service where you want to improve the customer satisfaction in the healthcare, all these kind of analysis is getting done and provided to the customer. Another use case that you have in terms of is like understanding about the customer is like when it comes to like customer interacting with you, how quickly you can understand what's the customer problem is. So we have a very nice use case example here from the Southwest Airlines, and that uses a kind of the speech analytics to extract the data. So using that, what they do is like whenever the customer is calling to their customer center, and based on the analysis, they do a quick real-time analytics, and based on that, they can figure it out. Are you happy customer? Are you angry customer about the delay in the flight? Or you are calling that your baggage has been lost? And based on that, before you get into too much kind of the discussion, they can take the necessary action in terms of providing kind of the information that you're looking for. So they are not going to ask too many questions on the customer because they already know the answer that customer is looking for. So based on your initial talk, they can basically go ahead and provide you these kind of solutions. And once you enable your customer support, when you enable your first line support with this kind of rich kind of analytics, rich kind of solution where they can understand about the customer when they are contacting them, you can all of course go ahead and delight your customer because they will get a feel that okay, somebody has already understood about their problem and they are going to take the necessary action that's going to address that. So those kind of innovation is happening in today's world where you can leverage these kind of the tools, big data and Hadoop based tools and technology, which can enable you to provide these kind of services. So as I was talking about Southwest Airlines, right, using a speech analytics technique, they can extract rich data from the live recorded interaction that is happening between the customer and the personal, and they can have a better understanding whether the customer is satisfied, unsatisfied, and based on that, they can basically get engaged with them and provide a kind of solution. Yep. So if you do these kind of analysis, so another, kind of stuff that you can do with this kind of big data analysis is about the customer pain points. So nowadays, if you have a new product or if you have launched a new service, you don't need to wait for customer to come back and fill that feedback form, and you will get it if you do a Twitter sentiment analysis, or if you just look on the comments that people are putting on your product news that you have published or the press release. You can easily go ahead, do those kind of the insight, and you can build the sentiment that people are happy, extremely happy, extremely painful to use the new solution. You can easily do that, do those kind of analysis, and based on that, you can quickly react and reach those customer and provide the help. So these kind of things also possible now because you have the kind of the speed and the kind of uh, mechanism available in terms of handling such large volume of the data. Another use case that you have here is like in similar in terms of handling the pain points. Like I'm sure all of us we would have experience. Like whenever you travel, especially like on international travel and all, one of the key concern that you have throughout the journey is like, hey, whether my baggage that was checked in, am I going to receive that on my destination or not? And Delta Airlines, like they are like one of the best in terms of when it comes to the customer service. So they understood this particular stuff with their customer that whenever they are flying, this is like one of the key concern they have. And now what they have enabled is like a more a kind of improved way of the tracking system. So if you have your baggage and if you have checked in, you just keep a scan of that one. You keep a snap of that one, and after that, you based on that app, you can track it like where exactly your baggage is. So even though if it didn't land on the your destination, no worries. You can still track it that okay, it's still in Johannesburg or it's still in California and it's going to be loaded. So you can still get that. So customer now can snap the photo of their baggage, tag using Track My Bag feature of the Delta app, and then keep the tags on their luggage as it makes it away to the final destination. So that way, it becomes, a good kind of the customer service when it comes to handling the key pain point of the customer. Another example that I was talking about, right, when Jagjyoti, right, so about the telecom, right. So when it comes to telecom domain, right, one of this is like a lot of customer churn, right. So if you have a lot of call drop, or if you have a lot of like people, like if somebody having all his friend moved to like from AT&T, they have moved to Orange Mobile, you may find that the last customer who is still stick with you because he didn't think of moving may move very quickly. So you can do all those kind of analysis based on his all outgoing call, incoming call from the different operator. You can analyze that and you can understand, if I don't offer right kind of incentive, or if I don't offer right kind of the plan, maybe this particular customer also will move to my competitor network. So you can do all those kind of stuff in terms of how the customers are going to move. Similar way you can do for the network as well. Like if you are going to have any congestion in the network, before it happens, before it goes to a particular level, you can take the necessary action. So nowadays what we call is like, it's no longer that you are hearing only the human voice. Nowadays, based on the mechanism that we have with all these devices logging and all, you will be able to understand a lot of things from the device as well. So if you put right kind of mechanism to get the data, analyze the data from all these devices, you can take a lot of action, or kind of the decision based on this kind of data as well. So your response time and all those things can be very improved when it comes to handling the customer quickly as much as possible. So if you want to retain your customer, of course, you have to delight them. And to delight them, you have to understand their pain point. You have to understand their key concern area. And that's where you can use and leverage these big data and Hadoop-based solution to retain your customer instead of leaving them with the problem. Right. So overall, if you see, right, whether it's a airline industry, or whether it's a use case in the science, telecom, or in terms of fitness, right? So or healthcare, all these are like basically providing you the kind of the data that you look for, the kind of a solution that you are looking for, the kind of a problem statement that you have, the pain point that you have, understanding that, reacting that in a faster way, and basically delighting your customers. So if you are in a customer service stuff, and if you are like if you want to delight your customer, you have to start thinking in terms of how you can leverage these big database solution to get some of the data points and provide the solution or provide the services based on this kind of data. So that's about, we had a couple of use cases here. Last 10 minutes, we open it up for questions. So if you have any question, do let me know here, and I will be able to take that and answer that. Please tell about the security aspect of the big data in Hadoop, since there are a lot of personal data of customer will be going to accumulated in Hadoop. Okay, and that's a good question because that about the security. So when it comes to Hadoop, Hadoop initially started with very minimal security that we had, but nowadays a lot of focus has been there in terms of the security when it comes to across the organization. So what you have is like a kind of a lot of tools like Ranger and Nox, and also like from Cloudera and Navigator, and also they are coming up with a lot of enhancement in the security, where you can enable like Kerberos, where you can have row level security, column level security. So all these things are coming in. Raghav says, can you pay a little picture on the Hadoop ecosystem? Sure, Raghav, I can give you. You have to give me a second. I will be able to show you. And Ram says, should I know about the programming to learn Hadoop? It depends, Ram, from which kind of domain that you come from, right? So if you are more from analytics domain, it's not that you have to learn programming. You have tools like SQL. You have a very high-level scripting tools. You can use it. Even you can write here a Scala script, or even you can write your biggest script, and using that you can work. So yep. So if you want to use that, you can do that. Okay, a fresher should start learning Hadoop or focus in Java. So Java is a kind of implementation mechanism, Mukul, and Hadoop itself has a lot of concept that we are talking about here. So Hadoop is a whole ecosystem that you need to understand, and when it comes to working, you can use Java as one of the language to work in. Okay, okay. So do let me know your questions here, guys. Is Hadoop similar to operating system, Pooja Yadav? And answer is kind of yes and no kind of stuff. Okay, and the reason is because in normal operating system, it offers you like file system. Hadoop also has something called Hadoop file system, so that way it's something similar. But apart from that, OS that handles you like all these resource management and all you have and process management. In case of Hadoop, it has its own concept. That's a distributed processing that it comes. So you can, if you want to relate it with your academics, it's like more like distributed processing framework that we are talking about. How you can relate analytics and Hadoop. Okay, so Ravi, to answer your question, Hadoop is a tool that handle the large volume of the data and can process that. Analytics is kind of the kind of program or the kind of the execution that you want to do on top of that. And when it comes to analytics, you want to do on large volume of the data. You want to scale it. You want to uh, run your algorithm in parallel. So all those things will be able to handle with the help of Hadoop. You will be able to handle with the help of Hadoop. What are the prerequisite technologies to learning Hadoop? I think Sheikh, right, as long as you have understanding about like data challenges that we have, I think you should be good. There is no as such prerequisite except that you should be aware of like there is a challenge with the data and little bit of Java if you have, it's good, right? Otherwise, you can pick it up from other languages as well. So yeah, I am from storage. So which field should I select? Developer, cluster administrator, programming? I think Vivek, if you are from storage, so if I understand, like you handle SAN and all those kind of stuff, is that correct? So in that case, I would recommend Hadoop administration will be a good area for you to go in. Yeah. So maybe you can focus a lot in Hadoop admin, and of course, like Hadoop development will give you like how people use Hadoop. But in terms of your job and all, I think Hadoop admin will be a good kind of stuff that you can look for. What is the latest version of Hadoop? So it is called Divya, right? So there are like multiple releases. Hadoop keeps coming like 2.6 and all, but on high level it is Hadoop 2.0, right? So earlier we had called Hadoop 1.2, now Hadoop 2.2 with Yarn enable architecture. Sriram says I'm project management. With intention of moving into the technical area, what should be the area of focus of Hadoop? I think in that case, Sriram, since you are in project management, and I assume it's a development project, right, that you are managing it. I'm assuming that I may be wrong here. So if that's the case, maybe Hadoop development, because you can understand the different aspect of the Hadoop development, how people use different tools and technique. Yes, because I am from system administration, like Windows and VMware administration background. Uh, Sheikh, I'm not sure. I read your previous question, but I think if you are from administration background, Hadoop admin is the best, right? It's where you can focus on like, yeah, yeah, you answer that one. Okay, and Dinesh says, I am not from IT or computer science. I don't know any of the programming language, so I can go for it. Okay, so what do you do, Dinesh? Right, like how you landed in this webinar. So what made you interested? Because that's what I can understand where you can focus on. Okay, so Mukul says, is there any scope for fresher in Hadoop just recently graduated? A lot of things, Mukul, right? So it's currently the most happening, kind of the technology that you have, right? So a lot of, focus in the industry, a lot of demand, right, in terms of the trained professional in the Hadoop world. So definitely it will give you a lot of opportunity if you have understanding about Hadoop and working knowledge. So sure, if you are looking for if you career in distributed computing, if you are looking career in big data analytics, machine learning, it's the area to go in. Step in. Is it sufficient for working on Hadoop as a Hadoop developer as by doing the course on Hadoop ecosystem? Definitely, Sarvant, right? So we do like from Edureka, right? We provide a good amount of the students they get trained from us, they get certified, and they are able to use it. Right? A lot of professionals who join this course, they find it right very kind of the right course for them to get started with their work in Hadoop. And of course, if you are planning to make a career change as well, it's very helpful course that you will find. So our 90% of the people are from who are using this tool, this course, they are finding it very helpful. So you can see that on our website as well. What are the other competitors of Hadoop? There is no competitors, Pooja, as such, right? But there are a lot of enhancement, like Spark is coming, and of course Flink and all, right? So those are like a lot of enhancement that's coming on top of Hadoop. How Edureka is helping on hands-on experience and on the big data and Hadoop, Jagjati says. Jagjati, so our whole course has been designed around what you call a project-based certification. So as part of our course, you work on a real-time data set, and we provide you, kind of the project experience as part of this course. So that way, you will be well equipped when it comes to working with the Hadoop projects. So yeah. Sriram says, being a senior project manager, will there be openings in Hadoop for me? Okay, that's an interesting question, Sriram, right? So since nowadays a lot of, I will suggest you to approach it in a positive way. If you think there will be, you will be able to make it here, you will be, right? So definitely it's going to be there, Sriram. So because since a lot of, initiatives are going in Hadoop, and if you have a project manager who understands the Hadoop ecosystem, definitely he is going to add, much more to the project. So approach it from that particular angle, and I'm sure you will find a lot of things. And if you see, right, a lot of demand right out there. Yeah. Hadoop and Spark, Ravi. Okay, so Hadoop is a focused batch based analytics, batch based tool, Ravi, while Spark uses in-memory, memory-based kind of computation. So Spark is more like a processing engine. Hadoop is like a processing as well as a storage, Ravi. Okay. Is Java or Hive, which is best tool for Hadoop? And that depends, Rick, what kind of data you're processing. So if it is a structured data, you may think of staying just with Hive. But if it is unstructured image data, you have to think of a kind of using a Java-based solution. Srinivas says, I have 8 year experience in manual testing. Can I shift for Hadoop? Definitely, Srinivas. A lot of demand in testing the big data application, and you will find it very challenging than what you had in your manual testing, because when it comes to big data, it's like testing with the terabytes of the data and how you do that. So that's really going to be a challenging area to basically uncover. So yep, a lot of good kind of demand as well as use cases there. So yeah. Bill, Edureka give training on Hive. Sheikh, yes. So our whole Edureka big data development course, Sheikh, it packages everything. It has Hadoop, MapReduce, Hive, Pig, HBase, Uzi, Scoop, Flume. So a lot of tools you are going to learn. Relation between mass and big data, Vikash Kumar Jha. Okay, so that has become very strong or tight kind of the coupling nowadays we have. So when it comes to statistics, when it comes to data science, maths and big data has got a lot of things to do together. So all these recommendation, prediction that you see, those kind of stuff, it's coming from statistics, and it has very strong tie up there. Okay, Apache Hadoop website says that latest is 2.7. Okay, now 2.0, and those are the different versions, Jagjoti, that I'm talking. So I talked about 2.6, right? 2.7. So those are the versions that you have. So on very high level, it is called Hadoop 1.0 and 2.0, and these are the in between versions you have. Which course should so these are like open source the versions, Jagjoti, that we're talking. Okay. Besides Hadoop, what other solution do we have for big data problems? I don't think any other popular kind of stuff that we have, Srinam. So earlier people tried with grid computing and all, but nowadays this Hadoop, Spark, these are the thing which is deriving this whole stuff. Amit Saxena says, will this course will help me to acquire more clients on the big data projects for my company? Definitely, Amit, because whole industry is moving towards the big data, right? So whatever role you are playing in, definitely it's going to help you. And you must be seeing this coming from your sales team or wherever, what kind of engagement you have, right? So a lot of buzz around the big data, and a lot of innovation going on, a lot of work going on in this area. So definitely it's going to bring more customer to you. When will this Edureka start training in few days, Atul? It's like every weekend we have courses, even we have weekday courses. So feel free to check on edureka.co, guys, if you guys are more interested in any of these big data courses. And feel free to reach us, our support number as well, and we will be able to help you with all this information. Can PHP will be used for Hadoop, and do we need to work on the Linux, or we can work on the Windows for Hadoop? So we do provide Mukul when it comes to working with the Hadoop virtual machine, which you can use on your Windows machine as well. Of course, it underlying will be Linux, but when it comes to PHP, so those are like development and all you will use. But if you want to power it, those web solution with the Hadoop, you can definitely do that. Any discount on course fee, Raghav? So you can check on that. We have different kind of offers and kind of different kind of course combination that you can sign up for that one. So I think definitely there is something. So yeah, you can check with us and we'll be able to help you. Okay, cool guys. So before you guys disconnect, right, I have a quick request from all of you. So it was nice to host you and my pleasure to have all of you here, guys, and and good questions, and it's very nice, audience here. So before you disconnect, please fill this survey form that you will get as part of this webinar. So please fill us, and if you want to get in touch with us, feel free to reach us on support@edureka.co, and we will be able to help you. Okay, thank you.